The Indian Air Force has emerged as one of the most battle-tested and lethal military forces in the world. First hitting 9 terror bases deep inside Pakistani territory, and then satellite images confirmed IAF hits on at least 10 Pakistani air bases with BrahMos and Scalp missiles, all this while suffering zero loss of assets or any pilots.
हिंदुस्तान ने अपने बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल अभी लॉन्च किए हैं. एक नूर खान एयरपोर्ट पे गिरा है.
Now this has led to Rafale fighter jet maker Dassault Rafale's stock prices hit near record high. Pakistani fake news narrative on Indian Rafale being shot down was slowly fact-checked by multiple military experts. In fact, over the past week, the stocks of Rafale versus China's Chengdu aircraft, the maker of J-10 fighter jets, have witnessed contrasting fortunes that will surprise many of you. The market knows a winner when it sees one, and Rafale's performance to beat Pakistan's Chinese air defenses at will has seen its values soar thanks to the Indian Air Force. After initially soaring on the back of Pakistani fake news propaganda, over the past week, Chinese Chengdu aircraft stocks have plummeted nearly 10%, and that's huge. This after neither Pakistani J-10s nor its JF-17s could prevent any Indian airstrikes on nearly 10 Pakistani air bases, as confirmed by satellite images.
Air Force ने आर्मी ने अल-फतह हमारे मिसाइल मारे.
Dassault Aviation has seen its stock slowly gain momentum since the India versus Pakistan conflict. Over the past month, Dassault's stock value has risen by 2.2%, while over the past 6 months, the share price has risen by an impressive 56%. This also follows the massive $7.4 billion India-France defense deal for 26 Rafale marine fighter jets for India's indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant. India's association with the Rafale has seen it emerge as one of the most valued fighter jets in the world. And this is exactly why China was driving Pakistan's fake news propaganda of Rafale being shot down during the 72-hour India-Pakistan conflict. On platform X, social media users have also pointed out how most articles promoting anonymous sources as well as unverified fake claims by Islamabad were all written by Pakistanis. Market analysts suggest more gains for Dassault Rafale could be on the way as more intricate details slowly emerge on how India used its Rafale jets to breach Pakistan's Chinese air defenses. Indian Air Force Rafale jets were said to have used the French-made Scalp and Hammer missiles in these strikes. Dassault recently reported around $6.78 billion in revenue and approximately $1 billion in net profit. Meanwhile, France's broader aerospace and defense sector grew by 17.7% over the past 1 year. Even Indian defense stocks have been soaring as they coincided with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the Adampur Air Base, where he personally busted Pakistan's fake news narrative of hitting this particular airbase. Clearly, the only damage has been caused to Pakistan's image as a regional military power.
जब हमारी मिसाइलें सनसनाती हुई निशाने पर पहुंचती हैं.
India's recent victory in conflict with Pakistan between May 6th and 10th rang alarm bells much beyond South Asia. The world is not only observing India's military readiness but is also keenly interested in how India beat Chinese technology to overpower Pakistan. Not only Chinese HQ-9 air defense system failed to prevent the numerous Indian Air Force strikes, even the famed Chinese PL-15 BVR missiles were recovered nearly intact inside India, as they failed to hit any Indian fighter jet and just crashed to the ground. Remnants of a Chinese PL-15 missile fell in Hoshiarpur, Punjab, either after being jammed or spoofed by Indian air defenses or simply after missing its target. Reports suggest world's premier intelligence agencies now seek access to this Chinese technology and have all approached India. This includes representatives of the Five Eyes group, including the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. Even France and Japan are reportedly keen to examine the debris to gain a better understanding of China's frontline weapons technology. Pakistan allegedly deployed the PL-15E missiles from Chinese-manufactured J-10C and JF-17 fighter aircraft. Now, this was the first ever deployment of this Chinese missile. Tech has failed in active combat. Yet the wreckage of Chinese missiles has transformed into a treasure for countries that are gearing up for a possible battle against China in the Indo-Pacific due to the CCP's expansionist ambitions, which claim the maritime territories of all its ASEAN neighbors. So why so much interest in this Chinese missile? The PL-15 is not simply another air-to-air missile. It's a strategic asset aimed and intended to equal the US AIM-120D and Europe's Meteor. Constructed by China's AVIC, or Aviation Industry Corporation of China, the missile comes equipped with cutting-edge features such as an active electronically scanned array radar seeker, a two-way data link, and a dual-pulse rocket motor. All these systems enable the missile to lock onto hostile targets at impressive ranges and make adjustments mid-flight. The Pakistani version exported to it has a range of 145 kilometers, but China's indigenous version reportedly has a range from 200 to nearly 300 kilometers. It is particularly intended for the destruction of high-value targets like enemy fighter jets and especially the AWACS aircraft. Though the analysis of the missile is ongoing, reports suggest specialists could reverse engineer or decipher China's progress in electronic warfare, propulsion, and guidance systems and improve it further for better performance in real-world conditions. For nations such as the United States of America, this knowledge is instrumental for upgrading its own military hardware and fending off Chinese tech in potential future wars. Japan and France are also highly interested. Japan perceives the rise of China as a significant threat, while France, which exports the Rafale fighters to India, wants to simply keep its weapons technology ahead of Chinese competitors. Essentially, India has not only intercepted this prized Chinese missile, it may have won a huge intelligence jackpot. As visuals emerged of India's daring Operation Sindoor, which was a series of precision airstrikes well inside Pakistan-occupied territory, the Pakistani Prime Minister and its Defense Minister issued some stunning yet bizarre statements. They claimed 5 Indian warplanes had been destroyed, including 3 of India's most prized possessions, the French-made Rafale jet. But they themselves admitted that the only proof Pakistan has were random social media posts being peddled by random accounts. Till today, Pakistan has not produced any evidence to back its Rafale lies. No pilots, no videos, no radar data, no wreckage, and no eyewitnesses.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they've shot down any, because there's no reason for Indian Rafale aircraft, which is almost certainly what they were, to have left Indian airspace.
While India has categorically stated its Air Force suffered zero loss of any pilots nor any assets in the entire operation. International observers and defense commentators are now taking a closer look and poking holes in what is being called one of the largest disinformation campaigns of contemporary warfare carried out by Pakistan. But defense commentators suggest that even if Pakistan did manage to score a hit or two, what's essentially important is that the Indian Air Force achieved its mission and established air superiority over Islamabad. Losses, after all, are part of combat. After all, the United States lost 63 military aircraft but won the Gulf War in 1971, while Ukraine has already lost 3 F-16s against Russia. So the mission is important and assets are bought to complete such high-intensity operations, especially behind enemy lines. One European military officer cited by AFP brushed aside Pakistan's assertion immediately, stating that it is very unlikely that 3 Rafale would be destroyed. The Rafale carry advanced electronic warfare suite and radar jamming assets, which make them very hard to lock onto, not to mention shoot down. One of the French Air Force pilots described to AFP how PL-15 actually works. It cruises silently until it reaches within a few dozen kilometers of its target, only turning on its radar mere moments before impact. Now, while technically possible, employing it successfully against high-speed maneuvering platforms like the Rafale deep within Indian airspace remains questionable without any evidence by Pakistan. Pakistani handles have spread a number of unconfirmed images on social media, such as one reportedly of an aircraft wreckage in Wuyan village in Kashmir. Most of them have been found to be old footage, but none of these have been independently verified by neutral experts or any satellite imagery. By contrast, India published high-resolution satellite images as well as infrared heat signatures and videos to back up its claims of multiple airstrikes deep inside Pakistan, which cannot be disputed. India's Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has now delivered a stern and unambiguous warning, declaring that cross-border operation was just the trailer, hinting at the possibility of more decisive actions if Islamabad continues to shelter and support UN-designated terror organizations like the LET or the JEM.
जब भी सही समय आएगा तो हम पूरी पिक्चर भी दुनिया को दिखाएंगे.
The battle of narratives rages on. Global opinion is shifting in favor of India's verified information, while Pakistani lies are being spread by Turkish, Bangladeshi, and even Chinese accounts, as well as news organizations. But that's nothing but a massive cover-up to mask the strategic and reputational loss Islamabad incurred during this conflict, as well as the failure of Chinese weaponry. Yet, in contemporary warfare, optics are often as important as the results, and India will have to be prepared for this battle of narratives if this conflict resumes. For now, the world seems to be rattled by India's rise as a 21st century economic power backed by one of the strongest militaries in the entire Indo-Pacific region. Indian defense stocks are soaring, but what do you believe? Could Operation Sindoor also signal the emergence of Bharat as a global defense exporting power? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.